which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please.
Covert.
Here.
Crowner.
Here.
Johnson.
Here.
Lees.
Here.
Young.
Here.
I entertain a motion to approve the agenda.
So move.
Support.
Motion and support. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries. We have our consent agenda consisting of 6 items.
Motion to approve is presented.
Support.
Motion support. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries. We'll go to our council and staff reports. Greg?
Thank you, Your Honor. A few things. Greater Burlington Leadership, want to thank them for the banners. The Public Works got those up. They look great. Brad took a video, but we're going to do it again tomorrow with the sunshine and no mayflies on them. And we'll get that posted on Facebook and the website as well. Was anybody interested in doing the Fire Academy, Citizens Academy? I just need to know if you are.
No thanks, John.
Okay. Chad and I are going to meet next week, and I think we're going to try to coordinate with both mayors as well, and do a little prep work in as we look to set our next joint meeting up. So we will be working on that, and I'll have a little present for Mayor Billups. But I'll hold the surprise for later. The pool, Chase can answer all your detailed questions, but today we're talking with the late start. We're looking at dropping the rate for passes down 20%, basically from, well, it was a little bit more than that. You round it from, what, 80 to 60 with taxes? Something like that?
It was 75 with plus tax, and then we talked about making it 60.
Running it down to 60 with the late start. Wednesdays, they're going to be open until 8:30 for evening swims. They're going to open up at 11:30 for lap swim. And there'll be some yoga. Is it yoga classes?
It's like a float, like a, I don't want to say
relaxation, I'll call it, program as well. But they will open at 11:30 for adult lap swim prior to opening up. We'll share, but Burlington included us on their bus route for West Burlington as well. And I already mentioned Wednesdays. Fireworks. Chief's going to be putting out some information for the public on fireworks and how the rules have changed, and safety information as well. And Mayor Billups had asked for, and I had dropped off some of the July 4th calendar. So they're going to put those down in their kiosks in downtown Burlington, and so they have those to put in the kiosks. Chase and company are going to drop off the panels for the mural. Elizabeth has found somebody that, Elizabeth is going to trace the mural design out, and found somebody to laser cut the design out, and that'll get done tomorrow. Allie says it'll take about 2 days to paint, and it should be open in advance of the 4th of July. So we'll be able to get that done. Striping, we talked about previously. The gentleman that requested the striping has agreed to pay for the cost associated with it. Heard back from him today, so we'll get that scheduled. At the same time, we're going to take the crosshatch marks on the portion of Gear south of Agency Street for the left turn in, so we have a left turn into Casey's. It'd stack about 3 cars. We'll do that at the same time while they're here doing the other work. We'll get that cleaned off and painted appropriately. And then Appreciate Mike Fallon, professor at the University of Iowa, coming down yesterday, and Sam Hollingsworth as well. The professor marked off all of the natives, and we had a work day out there as well. Appreciate all the guys out there helping as well. It was a hot day, and they even got a little lesson in, let's see, medicinal plants that we had out there, and edibles as well. Appropriate edibles. And noise ordinance. Kelly's going to pass around a draft of not a draft, excuse me, but a noise ordinance from another community that I found, and I think this version, I'd like you to take a look at and read through. I think it addresses a lot of the concerns and questions that have come up during our discussions, and has further definitions, exemptions, etc., and it talks about or addresses a lot of things that we have discussed. So it's a little bit different approach. This is Waukees, I believe. Pretty sure this was Waukees' approach, and it seemed like a pretty good route to go. So I'd urge you to take a look at that, and then we can get that brought back for council consideration. But I think that approach addresses most everybody's concerns. Not that it doesn't need a couple tweaks for West Burlington. That's just a copy and paste of their ordinance. But take a look at that. I think you might like that methodology better, and let me know if you would. That's all, Your Honor.
Thank you. Jason?
Denco wants to come down about the third week of July, second and third week of July, to start crack sealing. They want to do it next week, but we told them it'd be better off to wait until after the 4th. So we'll look for that. And then we've just been working on the pool. We found a pretty good sized leak. We replaced the pipe and we pressure tested it, and it passed. So the pool floor is poured back. It needs to sit till probably about Friday before we put water on it. Tomorrow we're going to pour back the decking on the outside of the pool and or backfill it and put the decking out, and then clean the pool, and then we'll start filling it this weekend, probably Friday afternoon and Saturday, and then hopefully by the mid next week it'll be ready to go. The two pumps that were down are getting put in tomorrow morning, so everything's kind of coming together on it. We are going to wait to paint it until after pool season, because they said our painters didn't want to paint it for 20 days after pour, and then an additional 4 days to dry after that. So it's just going to be bare concrete, but
We'll put up some signage, but it shouldn't be too bad. They're going to put a light brush on it. So.
The concrete works pretty good, so.
So did we have any idea what caused it?
I'm not sure. The pipe just,
It's an 8-foot
the
crack.
whole top
on
of the pipe
the
just cracked, so I'm not really sure what happened. I don't know if it shifted, or I guess it could have froze, but it wouldn't make any sense that there was water in it, because it was all sloped the same way and nowhere else held water, so I'm not sure.
Where do you guess you're at price-wise?
I can't. I don't know. They were here all last week, so, and the hole they had to dig out was a pretty good sized hole, and the concrete was in some areas was 2 feet thick. So,
Okay.
and all the rebar in the pool, they have at least 2 layers of rebar everywhere, in some places 3. So it could be. I can't tell you. I don't know off the top of my head.
Okay.
If it helps, then I won't charge for my supervisory skills for 3 days.
All right. Thank you, Chase. Jesse, anything for police and
couple.
fire?
Had 9 applicants state they were going to be there on Saturday, had 5 show up for the police testing, 2 passed. So we'll do interviews next week on the 2 applicants and see where we go with it. Fire department side, We have firefighter 1 testing tomorrow at the station. Have about 10 people that's going to be tested up there tomorrow as a test site instead of sending them somewhere else. The state allowed us to be a test site since we had so many participating in it, so we didn't have to send them to Iowa City or Davenport or anything like that. So we really appreciate that.
Thank you. Anything from building that we should mention?
We'll include it in the update, but there's been 24 applications, I believe, in the last, or permits issued in the last month. The VA obviously being the largest one, but they are not slowing down. Hospital's got 2 or 3 going on right now too, but about 24 permits. So they just keep coming. So I guess that's a good thing.
Yeah.
Good thing.
Anything from you, Kelly? Okay. Angie, anything? No? All right. We'll go to council reports. Melanie?
Just a couple comments. One, I want to commend you, Ron, and the rest of us for making it to the VA groundbreaking. We had great representation from the leadership for our community, and I think it sent a good message to the VA leadership that we're welcoming the clinic to our community, and let's go. We're ready for it. So good job, and looking forward to seeing that progress. Second, good time with the Coffee and Council last 2 weeks ago, Thursday again. Good conversations, and I think it creates a good opportunity for some different types of conversations. While we may not have a lot of people from the community show up, it seems we always learn something from those who do attend, and so that makes it worthwhile. Again, as Greg said, thanks to the Greater Burlington Leadership class for the banners. They look great. They look fun. Just something creates discussion. That the energy and the color of the banners just gives a sense of provides opportunity for people to discuss and engage with each other. And that to me is about building community and placemaking, and all these little things add up. Hats off to Chris, since he's here, and the whole group that put together Burlington Riverfront Days. Was a great community event that I think some of us got to enjoy, some maybe more than others. It was a good time, and thank you, and thanks for the folks who pulled it together. Appreciate it. And also the long-running Snake Alley Art Fair, again, a neat event that pulls our community together. We have artists from Burlington, West Burlington, our schools, our community college, Iowa City, and further that come and attend, and again, pulls people together. So thanks, everybody who did that. So just those things, I want to commend our community for putting a lot of energy into things that make our community our community. Thank you.
Dries?
Echo the same sentiments of Melanie, and then bike races, we're up and running. I think the applications are online, and I think probably this year we should put a time date of like July 2nd, and then after July 2nd, they have to apply in person, because sometimes I don't get those late deadlines.
John?
The Convention Bureau had their meeting this week, and that went pretty well, I think. I made a suggestion that, that maybe they could put the rides and stuff down Jefferson Street and free up the down part. I don't know if that'll go anywhere, but that would be pretty cool, having the rides down Jefferson. The businesses and stuff could sit outside and stuff. But anyway, then I was wondering if maybe we should, advertise with like a radio station or something that the pool's getting opened, and KCPS will do it for 20 times for $230. Just a little 30-second announcement on the radio station that the pool's fixed, and I think that's something that we should maybe think about doing, since it's been shut so long. So that's all I got.
Andy?
A couple of fourth things, but then real quick, I know we have the Iowa students, the presentations out here. Did we ever get the digital files?
Yes, they're all online on the Institute's website. The story map will be finished up. I have digital copies already downloaded. If somebody wants me to throw them on a USB, I can do that too, if it's easier for you, rather than going to each presentation. Just let me know. But yes, everything is online, and the last GIS project was delivered today, which has our sidewalks, the ADA ramps, missing ADA ramps, sidewalk conditions, et cetera. Sent that on to Austin, and so he's in the process of putting 25 layers on GIS. So,
If there's any way that you want to display those on the 4th somewhere,
oh, that'd be great.
I'd be happy to help put that together.
I could get some of the designs printed on some larger sheets and protected like
or
that, like out
display
there.
in here, or
Yeah,
yeah,
that's a
Something
good
like
idea.
that.
Fire station or something?
could have it there too.
All right, we can move them around. We could easily move them around too.
Yeah, could have it at fire station in the morning and then move it this direction.
That's actually a good idea.
Other 4th things, I have a few thank yous for donations. West Burlington Hydraulic Supply, Lunning Chapel, F&M Bank and Trust, Anderson Service Center, and I'm On have sent very generous donations to us, so thank them for their support of the event. And then we have signups still online for the parade, the Kids Talent Show, and the bicycle races. So if you're interested in that, you can come into City Hall and sign up or register online. And something else. I lost it in my notes. Well, anyway, we're about ready, so should be a good year as long as the weather holds off and gives us some sun and not 104 degrees like I think it was last year. So looking forward to it, and should be a good year. The late band played, I think it was like 13 years ago, and I can remember everybody wanted to stay and party with them after the show, so should be a good year. Thank you.
Thank you.
Not really that much, Your Honor. Chase, tell the guys thanks a lot for all the hard work they did. They're trying to get that swimming pool back together. We appreciate it. That's about it.
Thank you. I have a couple items. One, both of them kind of revolve around what Melanie was talking about being at the groundbreaking for the VA. And the first one was I had a couple people who, for whatever reason, said something about, well, why doesn't West Burlington have a noise ordinance? And I thought, well, that's strange that they were bringing that up, but they did. And they said, well, make sure you say something to the city council. So I said, I'll do that for you. So I am mentioning it to you that a number of people thought that we should have something in place. And of course, we are working on that. My other was that as I was getting ready to go, the general contractor for the area there stopped me and said, I want you to know that your staff that you have working here at City Hall is one of the best that I've worked with. And he says, I've worked with staff across the nation in doing these VA projects. And he wanted to especially congratulate Mark Crooks on the work that he'd done with him. But he mentioned Greg and any of the other members of the staff that were doing that. So it was an echo, I think, back to what Hans always used to say, that, really the position of the mayor is the staff, because they're the ones that really do the work, make things work for us. So I do want to say a thank you to the staff for what they've done on this VA project. So
I'll pass that on. Thank you.
Thanks.
and with that, then I think we have a community report from the Greater Burlington Partnership, Convention and Visitors Bureau.
Out of curiosity, the noise ordinance request, was that due to Burlington River Day?
I don't think we heard it out here quite that well.
I wouldn't be surprised. Thank you very much for allowing me to present tonight. By the way, as an aside, I was very happy and proud to see Councilperson Young. I think you were there all 3 nights.
Yeah.
And really enjoyed the dancing. And I do have video evidence of that, and I can be bribed.
Thanks, Chris.
Yeah, no worries. My name is Chris Graham. I'm the Executive Director of the Greater Burlington Convention and Visitors Bureau. I think I'm in my 3rd year in the role. I think that's right. When I assumed the position, I inherited as the West Burlington representative on our steering committee, Councilperson Crowner, who proceeded for the next 2 years to be a royal pain in the... Sorry, I'm kidding. I'm joking. I'm joking.
They're all aware.
Yeah. No, I am joking because Andy and I would have long, fruitful conversations about tourism in general and about the challenges that face the CVB in regard to promoting tourism in West Burlington. I'm not telling any tales out of school. There is no starkly obvious tourist attraction in West Burlington. There's no Disneyland West Burlington. And that's been my challenge. It's been the challenge of my predecessors. It doesn't keep me up nights because I am a firm believer in the rising tide raises all boats. If somebody comes to Greater Burlington, they're still staying at the American, they're still shopping at Target. So if I can get people in the door, I think everybody benefits. But it has festered. So as these thoughts have gone around, and I've had conversations with Andy and others, things have started to germinate. But I think it was back at the tourism conference this last April. So the State Tourism Office, they put on a state conference every year. And this is, for those who don't know, this is an arm of IEDA, Iowa Economic Development Authority, who are all about increasing the state's economy, increasing the state's population, and as a part of that, increasing the state's tourism. And so I'm listening to their programming and sitting in the breakouts and whatnot. And it occurred to me, and I'm not going to take any credit for this, there's no way that this is an original thought, but I have since repeated that every new resident is a tourist first, right? So, okay, there isn't a Disneyland West Burlington, but perhaps I could promote West Burlington itself as a destination for potential relocation. Those folks, it would be a campaign that's just an enticement. Come check out West Burlington. Maybe this is a place that you would want to relocate to. And those people would, by default, become tourists because they come to visit. So that was the kind of the start of this project, the reason that I'm here. I reached out to Joe Jolin with Jolin Media and charged him with creating a teaser video for us. So a 15-second clip that could be promoted on social media and YouTube. That would simply be a testimonial by a West Burlington resident why they like living in West Burlington and kind of plant the seed in people's eyes. Okay, West Burlington, just kind of put it in their brain and maybe consider it as a place to stay for the reasons that are kind of outlined in the testimonial. And this is the video that I'm going to play in a couple seconds. There are going to be some caveats after we watch the video. I'm going to start with one, which is to reiterate that it is 15 seconds long. That is a slow blink, right? I've already talked 15,000 times longer than this video that we're about to watch is. So keep that in mind when we watch it. We can watch it a couple times, and then I'll kind of talk about the content and what I've got planned for it. So they're telling me that this is going to sound when I play it. If not, I'll put this at the computer. We'll see what happens. Everybody ready?
You have popcorn?
Yeah, really.
One kernel.
We love the connections we've made, and it feels like our kids are a part of a small school, and it's a small town like, you know, your neighbors, but then you have all the conveniences of Burlington and everything that the bigger city offers.
I told you it was short. So that, you can see it. Well, you probably can't see it. It is pretty small, but that is 15 seconds. It doesn't feel like it.
No, it doesn't.
Would anybody mind if I played it one more time?
Oh, go ahead.
Yes.
We love the connections we've made, and it feels like our kids are a part of a small school, and it's a small town like, you know, your neighbors, but then you have all the conveniences of Burlington and everything that the bigger city offers.
Okay. You'll notice that there's no move to West Burlington. There's no, the idea behind it was to instill a feeling, right? The feeling that we're trying to impart is young mother, raising a family, small community, why she loves living here, and just kind of planting the seeds of why she loves living here, and instill a feeling as opposed to trying to sell something. Because that apparently, I'm not much of a salesman, but I've been told that is a greater way of selling something, is to instill a feeling in something, in someone, and that kind of germinates with them. So here are my caveats for the video. The timing of the content curation didn't quite work out. So Councilperson Young wisely suggested, hey, you might get as B-roll shots of athletes maybe on the field at West Burlington High School, or perhaps, you know, running the track or playing baseball. Timing-wise with Joe, that didn't quite work out. And I do mean this humorously. A little bit ago, he said, you know what, I can replace that. I'll just get some aerial shots of the pool. And I went, maybe hold off on that. But this is a teaser campaign. So this is a 15-second ad that I plan to run on YouTube as a pre-roll ad in Illinois, because we all know that there are thousands of people who are just dying to get out of Illinois. And I will couple this, or down the road, add to this a 30-second campaign, or a 30-second video that will be able to expand on this kind of start, and either add as a separate campaign or run that as a retarget for the people who engage with this one. The reason I'm mentioning that is because it will come after this, but because that has not happened yet, he has time to then gather content. So he's going to gather content, again, at the pool when it opens up, he knows that, but also at the 4th of July event, he's going to gather content there too, which will make for a much more compelling and engaging 30-second ad. So again, this video would run on YouTube as a pre-roll ad, a non-skippable ad. 15 seconds works out perfectly for that time frame. And then we will either piggyback that later on with a 30-second more engaging ad, or use that ad as a retarget for those who engage with this ad. Does anybody have questions about the ad itself?
Chris, what kind of tracking are you going to do after it airs?
After it airs?
Yeah.
So, thank you, because I'm missing something very important. Something else that's missing from the video. I'm going to backtrack for a second, and then I'll kind of get to your point. There's also no call to action to the video. I'm working with Joe on adding one, which is for more information. Click on this, visit this. I could be missing something, and if I am, somebody please correct me, but I did not see an obvious destination on the West Burlington website that would act as like a relocation guide. If it's there and I missed it, I apologize. But to me, that would be a very obvious destination.
Maybe the church, we could put on the, can't think of it
He
now.
meant digital,
Yeah.
okay. To
Like
go-
on their website?
No,
You're saying put that in the video.
yeah,
Okay.
church,
The grotto?
St. Mary's?
St. Mary's, yeah.
But no, we don't have a relocation guide. We would use the general chamber relocation guide.
Which would
But
be...
we could create a page pretty easily, with various links, including, and throw the video on there as well.
Which would be awesome.
It'd be easy to do.
Yeah, and there is no, I mean, this is an open-ended campaign, and there's no rush. We have time. Essentially, in other words, the call to action for the video would be, I want to learn more about what this video is showing me, and they click on it, and it takes
Yes.
them somewhere online.
Give me more information.
Give me more information. And ideally, it would
Tell me
be,
about healthcare facilities, tell me about the recreational.
Talk about the
facilities,
schools.
Tell me about schools, tell me
Yeah.
about manufacturing options, if you will.
yep, it's the other end of the carrot, essentially. This is just the tip of it.
Shopping, retail, more retail.
One of, when you came up with your idea,
Yeah,
you gave me one too.
awesome.
And that is that every student that comes to SCC is essentially a tourist when
Yep.
they first come here too.
Yep.
And I think that's another connection that, maybe we can do another 15-second on just, that's an additional possibility for you too.
We could spiderweb off of this idea for hours. But I'm reminded of the concierge program that the Greater Burlington Partnership is championing. I'm wondering if SCC has something similar. For students that come in that are essentially tourists to start, is there something that integrates those students in the community and makes them want to stick around?
Exactly, we miss it.
Like I said, ideas can snowball. So, to answer your question, ideally there would be a call to action at the end of this. We can, gather that as we get to, when we're ready to implement it. But then it would be trackable from there. I'm not going to claim to know how the inner workings of YouTube and social media work and how the retargeting works, but I do know that it is essentially when somebody engages with this, however they judge that they're engaging, somehow Google, YouTube tracks that, and then we'll play our longer ad to them and hopefully get them to engage with that call to action after that.
And I might add, so when I first took over for Andy, Chris stood up and said, John, he says, you got some pretty big shoes to fill there. And I don't know if you remember telling me that, but
Don't remember much,
you
I'll
did
be
that.
honest.
And since then, I truly feel that Chris is one of them people that would help us out to advertise for our city. I truly believe that his heart's there. So, if we could get the Grinnell put in there, in future advertising and a little bit more, I guess I just want to say I like what you're doing, Chris. So.
Oh, I appreciate that. But I am also going to be the first person to sit here and tell you that I don't have all the answers or the best idea.
Oh, I know.
So my
That's
idea...
what my job is, to tell you.
There you go. Is a teaser campaign that I would aim at Illinois,
Yeah.
just because I think it's primed for relocation.
Yeah.
But I would be welcome to other ideas of other markets that I could aim this at, because it's all from a desktop. I'd literally just point and click and throw some money behind it, and it airs there. So I know that for Greater Burlington, one of our strong feeder markets for...
Could you try again?
Is that me?
Computer. It's a computer.
It's the AI getting you.
It really is. Oh, don't get me started. One of our largest feeder markets for tourism is Peoria, believe it or not. Now, I don't know if that would count as a good relocation target, but maybe there's out there. Maybe there's stories that people hear or word of mouth that would give you an idea of, hey, maybe we could ...
Well, I just want to say thank you. I don't know that in the last 20-ish years, there's ever been an ad from the partnership for the city of West Burlington that's not like in a partnership newsletter or something
Sure.
like that. So,
Yeah.
so thank you very much for thinking of us, and I think this is a good use of that. A lot of times mention to people when they're coming to town, like, hey, there's a lot of attractions around, and if you're interested in a great place to live, come check us out right next door. So,
Yeah, you just have to get them in the door, don't you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think you're right about targeting in Illinois. I think that's at least what I see in my profession is people moving from that side of the river to this side of the river.
Yeah.
That's some of your biggest businesses downtown now have moved here from Illinois during COVID and started because of that. So I think that's good to target that direction. So thank you very much for your work.
Awesome. Thank you very much.
And it's just much simpler here.
Yeah. You've been talking to the other mayor.
Might have heard that somewhere.
That does make for a good tagline. That's not bad. How about this? We'll make you the star of the next video.
There.
Oh, please, no. We get to vote on that? Thanks, Chris.
Be targeting
Appreciate it.
different demographics
We'll
if we
vote on
chose to do that.
It's just much simpler here, and then
Okay, at this point, do we have any citizen inquiries? Seeing none, we'll go on to our new business. We consider the third reading of the ordinance setting the water rates.
Support.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks.
Thank you. Motion and
Support.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Sorry, this is roll call. Yep.
Covert,
Aye.
Brown,
Aye.
Johnson,
Aye.
Please,
Aye.
Young.
Aye.
Motion carries. We'll go to number 2, considering the third reading of the ordinance setting the sewer rates.
Motion to approve.
Support.
Motion and support.
Mr. Mayor, I promised I would bring up again a discussion about people filling their pools. Again, I'm not saying that I'm in favor or against this, but I've had 2 people that are continually on me about having that discussion, so I said I would bring it up again.
Okay.
How many gallons of water go into one of these pools that we're filling?
It's a good question.
Mine's 15,000 gallons.
Okay. So my guess would be slightly less, would be my guess.
I would say it's probably 3,000 to 5,000
So
gallons.
say 4,000, just,
Yeah,
My neighbor's got a 4-foot pool, and it was 5,000 gallons.
yeah.
and we're about $11 per thousand for sewer, roughly. We're talking, about $50, 40, $50 for every pool that gets filled,
Right.
that the family would not spend. They would donate it to our swimming pool. We'll buy a concession.
Well, I'd like to have a quick, serious discussion on this before we move on. And again, I don't know which way I would vote, but I actually wanted to hear from Greg, because he wasn't here last time, what you thought. Have you done this in other cities? What's your thinking about having like a one-time-a-year pool filling, I don't know, almost like a permit, right? That doesn't get charged on the sewer that once.
I think it should be relatively easy. Katie could clearly tell when I filled my pool, but you can't really do it one time a year because they're opening pools anywhere from late March, April, May, June. I mean, they're stretched out there, but it would be pretty easy if somebody were to notify Katie at the front desk, I would think, that, when they're going to be filling their pool, to be able to identify, that significant increase, whatever it might be, rather than, I'd hate to have to do separate meters and all those things, which you can do.
In the past, we have done it, but we asked them to read their meter when they start filling it and track their gallons that they're actually using.
So are we talking just above pools or dug-in pools?
There's
'Cause
only one
Yeah.
I know,
pool in
but there
town.
might be more if they,
Oh, yeah.
if we set this up and they do it like in the Deary project, maybe there'd be pools there, and now we're setting a precedent where it's gonna be pumped out and down the sewer anyway, probably.
It goes out on the street is the,
It goes in the storm sewer, it doesn't go in the sewer.
right.
The ones now, but not Greg's,
Above ground.
above ground.
Which means that it would go in the storm
It'd
sewer,
go
not
in
the
the
sewer
storm sewer.
system,
Yeah, you
and not
really
be
don't want it to
treated,
go
be
down.
water.
Yeah,
I'm gonna have to,
that's,
I'm
that
gonna have
was
to
my
redo
point.
mine.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
don't want it to go down the sewer.
Who said that? John? Salvador?
At one time, way back,
It was.
I've been here a while, we did allow them to keep track of, read the water meter, fill up their pool, and read the water meter again. And we allowed them to pay for the water, but not the sewer.
I feel like I got a bit of a conflict of interest here, but,
No, because you've got the most experience with this. I mean,
yeah, I'd hate to meter it. I think that's kind of probably a waste of time and money. I think with the numbers that we have, the individuals that we have, and working with Katie, we could easily come up with a method to track the gallons. But I would require them to let us know when they're going to do it.
Yeah.
When,
Apply for a refund and.
yeah, and it'd be pretty easy to document that. I mean, if we wanted to, we could even run by with the vehicle and read the meter and get an official reading if we don't want to have to deal with it. But I think there's any number of ways that we could deal with it so that we don't have a costly or a huge cost in implementing the program. So.
probably, I don't know if Brad's listening back there, but it could be a quick enter your address, enter the date that you did it, your starting and ending meter read, and hit submit, and it emails Katie, and that's it.
It'd be, yeah, very simple.
Specify this as residential, not business, because we do have two businesses in town that does have swimming pools, I'm aware of. One would be the American Inn, then you have the hospital.
That's a good point.
Both of those are internal, so they would have to drain into the sanitary.
So, yeah,
External.
they're treated as pools, but, and there's a recirculating though too, but yes.
If they don't dump theirs into the storm sewer.
Yeah, they do.
Do they? The
The
hospital?
hospital does, don't they?
I think there's a sewer.
I would.
In sewer.
John said it's
So-
into their storm sewer. Do you know how they do that? Into the storm?
I-
I would think it's hooked into the regular.
Sewer,
sanitary.
sanitary sewer system, I would think, but.
I would think.
I don't know. I
We can
just assumed
confirm,
it was.
but yeah.
So may I suggest that what we do with this, since the point is, if you're interested in doing this, let's have Greg present something back to us on a plan on how to do it.
Sure.
I mean, if you're not interested, we just move on, but otherwise, that way, it's not necessarily connected to the
complicated.
rates, but it would be a separate item that we would have at the next council meeting.
Sounds good.
Good with that.
We'll put an application together. It doesn't really have to be any more complicated than Andy said, but I'd like to ask Katie. I didn't have an opportunity to do that, and then we'll bring back just a simple form, and we want to keep it simple for
Right.
process, so, yeah.
Okay. With that, then, I'll call for a roll call on number 2.
Crowner,
Aye.
Johnson,
Aye.
Lees,
Aye.
Young.
Aye.
Covert.
Aye.
Motion carries. We go to our third reading of an ordinance setting garbage collection rates.
Motion to approve?
Support.
Motion and support. Any discussion? Seeing none. Roll call, please.
Johnson,
Aye.
Lees,
Aye.
Young,
Aye.
Covert,
Aye.
Crowner.
Aye.
Motion carries. All right, number 4, consider the third reading of an ordinance amending Chapter 92 of the Municipal Code concerning water rates outside the city limits.
Motion approved.
And support.
Motion and support. Discussion? Seeing none, roll call, please.
Lees.
Aye.
Young.
Aye.
Over.
Aye.
Crowner.
Aye.
Johnson.
Aye.
Motion carries. Number 5, consider the third reading of an ordinance amending Chapter 99 of the Municipal Code considering sewer rates outside the city limits.
Motion approved.
Support.
Motion and support. Discussion? Seeing none, roll call, please.
Young.
Aye.
Over.
Aye.
Crowner.
Aye.
Johnson.
Aye.
Lees.
Aye.
Number 6, we need to set a public hearing date to consider amendments to the zoning and subdivision codes.
Motion approved July 16th at 6 PM.
Support.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Actually, that is a resolution. It's not in the heading, but
Okay,
I did do a resolution.
all right then.
Sorry. Over.
Aye.
Crowner.
Aye.
Johnson.
Aye.
Lees.
Aye.
Young.
Aye.
Motion carries.
And I do have, after the last time we met, they made a few more changes, so I did print out hard copies if anybody wants one to look
The
at.
digital
before
copy
you-
in the update Friday. It's the, if you look at both the zoning and the subdivision codes, it's the yellow highlights. Those are the only changes that were made subsequent to the last review of the council. And Franny will attend the night of the hearing, but there's not that many, so just look for the yellow highlights for the changes.
All right, so we need to go to number 7. Consider resolution hiring Travis Oliver as a police reserve officer.
Motion approved.
Support.
Motion and support.
This is Travis. He works at a DESCOM. It's his full-time job, so he's around that end of it anyway. So he's done quite a bit of previous work with Sheriff's Department and departments like that. Worked out at correctional, out at the jail as a jailer before he got hired as DESCOM. You've been out there for 4 years? 2 years, okay. Yeah, so he's been part of the, community, lives here in Burlington area, and glad to have him on.
Thank you for joining us.
Travis, why do you want to do it now?
Also.
It definitely is different. I've sat in DESCOM a lot. I know Ringo's sat down there, and it is different. Talking to people on the phone and then us responding and talking to them out in the public. It's two different things that you have to deal with. So it's not an easy job at all.
DESCOM, appreciate your work you do, because I know you guys and gals down there multitask.
Shanna out at DESCOM, she's got a good group out there, so appreciate it.
Well, welcome. Glad you're going to do it and way to push yourself and try and grow in different ways. Thanks.
Thank you.
Call for a roll call, please.
Crowner.
Aye.
Johnson.
Aye.
Lees.
Aye.
Young.
Aye.
Covert.
Aye.
Motion carries. Congratulations.
Welcome.
We'll go to item number 9.
8.
No, 8. Consider resolution amending the wages for swimming pool employees.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion and second. Discussion?
We have one guard that hasn't gotten the full certification yet. She can work 6 out of the 8 stations. We didn't include originally a shallow water guard position. This was the recommended amount, but that individual is still looking to get their full certification as well.
So we will have just one shallow guard, or is there others?
Just one right now.
And she can rotate through how many?
6 out of the 8?
6 of the 8?
She
Yes.
just can't do the diving board and the bottom of the drop slide, the deep water.
I thought when she was here last time, I asked if everybody was certified, and she said yes.
No, at that time, Kelly was
We
still
had several.
coordinating for certifications, but they did have one subsequently. But they haven't been able to do anything in the pool, obviously, for obvious reasons as well.
We've had some just finish classes since then. We also lost a certified guard that found something else, and then, since we're not opening right now, so that's unfortunate. So I think the more guards we can have in helping anywhere, we need to do that.
We've only lost the one employee, so that's good.
Okay, I'll call for a roll call.
Johnson,
Aye.
Lees,
Aye.
Young,
Aye.
Covert,
Aye.
Crowner.
Aye.
Motion carries. Number 9, consider a resolution temporarily closing streets for the West Burlington 4th of July celebration.
Motion to approve.
Support.
Motion and support.
I'd like to make one comment on this. Last year, I had several instances of people late in the evening going through those barricades right next to where the crowd was in the evening. And I'd sure like it known that when those streets are closed, it's for even the people that live there. It's not for them to go through the barricades right up to the crowd and drive right next to it, cursing the whole time. And it's a problem. So we need to make sure that we're enforcing those street closures.
Are you talking about the orange and white barricades, the temporary barricades, rather than the other
Orange and
ones?
white.
On either end?
Yep. My problems were mostly right here.
Okay. Well,
I mean, we've got to be able to move them because I've got to be able to get,
everybody's working on the 4th, including the reserves, so we'll, Jesse can certainly make that known.
Make a note.
I promise not to do it again.
You won't do it anymore. Roll call, please.
Young,
Aye.
Covert,
Aye.
Crowner,
aye.
Johnson,
Aye.
Lees.
Aye.
Motion carries. Last item of business is consider the acceptance of John Snaden's retirement notice and authorized advertising for his replacement.
Motion approved.
Support.
Motion and support. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Your Honor, quick discussion. John's retiring September 5th, but I think we've got another 3 weeks of work out of him. He's got some vacation. We had an excellent candidate last time around whose application is still good, local, young man, West Burlington grad as well, who was we had 2 top candidates, very, very close, and we'd be looking to move forward. But what we'd like to do is hire the individual sooner rather than later to get them on board, with John being out all but 3 of those weeks through September. So if there's not an objection, we'll proceed and bring it back to council for formal action.
Are we required by state to advertise this position?
Not in
No.
general, when you have a new position, we advertise. This application is less than a year old, so we're not required to re-advertise.
It was done in February, so it's the last 6 months.
Okay.
If the individual's no longer interested, we would obviously put that back out. So, but we would like to move forward sooner rather than later, rather than wait till September. There's a lot going on.
Chase, have we hired any summer help with the mowing and stuff this year?
No.
Summer help was not budgeted the past 2 years. With the additional staff member that we have with Jacob doing the apprenticeship program, and he's almost got his grade 3. He's applying for testing again. He is whipping through that program, so that's he'll be ready to go. Excellent candidate. So we had technically 1 extra person, but no part-timers.
Just want to say, John, I'm going to miss his laugh. Always had a smile. I see he's pretty brief on his retirement. It just it's sad when you see people that you've been working with for over 20 years leaving, but obviously it's time for him to enjoy his retirement. I wish him the best of luck.
You're here. I don't remember you giving us a long letter.
Do we need to make any kind of modifications to this? Okay. In that case, then I will call for a voice vote. All in favor,
I think
signify
we
by...
already, well, I guess you did ask, we don't have to do a roll call, you can do a voice.
Okay, voice, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. At this point, we need to go into a closed session according to Iowa Code Section 21.5.1I to evaluate the professional competency of an
Thanks,
individual
Travis.
whose appointment, hiring, performance, or discharge being considered when necessary to prevent needless and irreparable injury to the individual's reputation, and the individual requests a closed session. Do we need to have any type of...
If we could jump into it, it's going to be real
Motion
quick.
to go to.
Motion to.
Motion